Hey everyone, I'm Brandy,
And I'm Dustin.
and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fuzzy Memories from the Road, where Dustin and I,
Fuzzy memories.
we do our best. We do our best. I mean, what do you want from
That's
us,
what we,
really? It's been like
it's
over a
been a
decade.
yeah, it's a dozen years almost.
So tonight we are going to look at the episode called A Call for Help. And so this begins in Denmark, in Copenhagen, where we investigated Trek Runner Fort. And then we jump back to Lima, Peru, where we investigate Casa Garland. So, Dustin, what
Yes.
do you remember from Copenhagen?
So my earliest memories of Copenhagen were that it was extremely colorful. Like being down by the because we had to take that boat to go to the fort. I remember going down by the water, and the buildings, the homes, the businesses were all very very close together. If not like shared walls, but like bright red building, bright yellow building, like not the typical American gray and brown like industrial buildings. These were like it was fun. It was colorful. I remember I thought there was a bicycle race going on, and it just turns out everyone bikes everywhere. Like they were super healthy people. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember on our half day off, if we even got a full half day off, I don't know. But we went to that very famous uh, waterway, the river with the houses, all the like fisheries and the houses, the colorful houses on each side with the big like ships in the harbor.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean it was a weird city though because it's very contradictory because like during World War II it was occupied and stuff. But now it is, you're right. It's kind of like this happy little up north town. I don't know how to explain it.
It's very festive. It almost kind of has like a Christmassy feel to me. Like it feels like everything was like kind of amplified and happy and doing okay. It was good. Oh my God, I need to stop for a second because my cat is wrestling in a paper bag outside the door and it's driving me crazy.
Okay. We went there, I think it was during fall, the fall time when we were there, because I remember the leaves changing. So it was getting kind of chilly. I
I
mean,
remember it being cool out at the fort at night for sure.
right, for sure. So Trek Runner Fort, Trek Runner, I don't know, whatever.
Potatoes,
Tomato, tomato.
yeah.
Um, it's in the harbor area, so it's on the water. So when you take a super like fall day and turn night and then get that cross breeze off the water and you're in a very breezy old fort, it gets very cold very quickly.
I remember it was like almost like it wasn't quite like a U-shaped island. It was almost like a C-shaped kind of thing because there's a narrow entrance into it, but
Yeah.
it was different from any of the other forts that I remember ever visiting,
Well,
like
and
in
what was
anywhere.
also different, I think, for us, we typically never really had clients that were also paranormal investigators. And for this location, our client was part of the Danish Paranormal Society.
Hmm.
So he and his team, they had camped out there prior to us arriving. That's why we were called in because they were like, they had gotten some crazy things and wanted us to come in and kind of validate, I think, what they had experienced in a way
Yeah,
that they couldn't, obviously.
right.
Um, and I think we did that. I think there were a few pieces of footage that we managed to come across that actually did validate some of their own experiences that they had.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we did have a kind of a varied array of experiences while we were there, but we were able to capture some things to at least back up some of those experiences. Um, and I'm sure you remember one of the oddest maybe EVPs ever recorded. What did it sound like, Brandy?
So I called it like a clown slide noise. I don't know. You have a better term for it though.
It's just a slide whistle,
Yes.
that like a toy slide whistle that you would get when you were a kid.
It was so weird. It was like, boop.
Yeah, it was odd. Yeah, like who gets that kind of thing? It was
I remember watching uh the reveal to the client and like watching you guys play it for him.
Yeah, it's so
And
weird.
I think before we shot that, we are all like among the GHI team, we're like, oh my God, like how is he gonna respond to this? This is
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
Dear God. The reveals were always challenging for so many different reasons. Though they wanted to be haunted, or they want you to believe whatever the story was, and then you get some oddball experience and recording like this is a slide whistle, that nobody was playing a slide whistle, but this is a sound. But I remember asking, like, are there any animals that make this sound? Like, is there any? And they didn't hear it ever there before. They, like you said, they were a team. They camped out there. They stayed there, and we were there, all night, if not 2 nights. I think we were there, and never heard it anywhere else before. It wasn't in any other recordings. It's not like a bird would make one sound and then just stop all night.
No, and that's what was interesting too, because I think it was Barry and someone else. I cannot remember who.
Joe Chin.
Was it?
No, I don't think he was with us yet.
No. So you're starting to screw me up.
I love Joe
Joe
Chin.
Chin. No, but for sure it was Barry and someone, and I remember him saying that he definitely did not hear that with his own ears. So if it had been an animal, you would have assumed that, he would have heard it. And I just remember the client, I can't remember his name. All I remember is he was a really, really tall guy, and he reminded me of like a giant John Voight. The actor John Voight.
Only you would come up with this comparison.
No, you need to rewatch the episode. You're gonna see it. I promise.
John out in Copenhagen. There was something too with a picture. There was a picture that Barry had found that we didn't take, that was there, of like some old, I don't know, troop or something that was there. And there were like two guys that looked like a little odd and kind of like clowns, or they were in a costume or something. I remember Barry showing us that, and it seemed to like tie in with the fact that there was this slide whistle type sound that was just kind of odd.
I never knew that, and that just really creeped me out.
Yeah, almost like an Oddfellows kind of thing or something. There was some weird photo of some group that was out on that island at some point.
I'm just thinking instantly of Pennywise.
No, Pennywise was just misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
I like the original Pennywise. I didn't care for the new ones.
I like the new ones.
I mean, the movie was good, but I don't know. I think the actor who played Pennywise in the original, like, Pennywise had more character to him,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, yes.
Yeah. Well, the mouth. He had like the smile.
It was so good, so weirdly creepy. I was like, this is odd, The other one's a monster. The 80s version to me was like just a creepy fellow dressed up as a clown. It's great.
So maybe it was Tim Curry's version that was on Trek Runner Island.
Maybe.
Anyway,
we had some stuff happen there though, didn't we? We worked.
Yeah. So you and I were in this section that was like just a hallway, like a dark tunnel hallway. This place was really weird. It was really hard to kind of keep track of where you were. It was definitely like a maze. But I remember you and I were together down in this dark like hallway tunnel system. And I think you were hearing like movement or something down at the end of the hallway.
Yeah, and I remember we were in there for a while, and we're trying to track that down. And one of the things that we always try to do was to document multiple pieces of equipment and such. And there was a time, I don't know if it was in a tunnel, if it was in one of the rooms over there, but there was, we had set up a tri-field meter, and I always, because I used to use the handy cam a lot, the mini DV cam a lot, and I would always try to set it up so you could always see the tri-field meter in the shot, and it went off and then like knocked over, and it was on a flat surface, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there was a slight like incline, but where we had it specifically, it was pretty solid. And I think we had set it up and we had left because you had the camera on it. So we figured if something happens, we'll have to document it.
And
we were like halfway down. We were halfway down the hallway, and that's when we both heard, I think, like at the same time, and we kind of were like,
right.
Was that the, yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the video of it, and all I could think about was like Star Wars with like R2-D2 was like rocking back and forth, and like squeals and just falls over. What the heck just happened to that thing?
We tried to recreate it, and it just wouldn't happen again.
No.
I know we captured EVP of like footsteps, which was one of the claims which Voight from Pradiyama Castle would be very, very excited about, by the way.
Fan of footsteps.
They're the best.
I hope Voight gets to see this somehow.
I wish I knew like him, like personally, because I'd be like, hey, here's the link.
Somebody find Voight.
Yeah, he's become like our unofficial mascot.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuzzy memories. But yeah, so the original team, the Danish Ghost Hunting Society or whatever.
John Voight.
Yeah, yes. They had captured sounds of like footsteps and gravel, though. Like it was a very distinct sound. And I believe we caught that too. Yeah. I think there was something else that someone captured on their mini DV, but it was like auto focusing at the same time.
The clip I'm thinking of, it was something like in the top, I want to say it was in the top corner, and you started to see something, but then the camera like changes the focus to try to bring it in, and it can't do it. My cat is messing with the bag again. If anyone hears weird sounds, it's the cat with the bag.
I think the cat with the bag needs to come into the shot.
We should bring it on in. Really weird. It's not wearing its sweater today either because it was warm today. So Giant John Voight, I think he was pretty happy with the stuff we brought him, though.
I think he was super excited that we were able to validate a lot of their experiences. I think he wanted to bust out laughing when he heard the slide whistle EVP, but he kept it together. I don't think we deemed it haunted, though. I think we said there were some odd things that happened, but there was nothing incredibly definitive.
Right.
It's
one of those middle of the road things. There was a lot of that. There's a lot of just like scrum, like, but it was good though, because it's like, okay, it's better than, nothing happened like for 2 nights and we couldn't disprove or prove anything. It's like we got some stuff, but not enough to be like, wow, this place is crazy. But it was a great location. It was a beautiful place. It was safe. Like you weren't falling through anything. It was cold, but it was always cold 99% of the time.
Yeah, so. I think Copenhagen like is a little bit like Alaska, where they get a lot of darkness. And I don't know if you remember this, but when we were there, the entire town shut down at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember trying to get food. Like
it's impossible.
Yeah. Like if we had like a late call time to try to grab like something before you left. I remember one time going to there was a gas station near the hotel, and I went there to get, and they just, that hot dog that just rolls on those greasy, but I was like, it's something. And it was grayish in color. And I don't think it was because it was old. I think that's just the way the hot dogs looked. And then when I asked for ketchup, he gave me what looked like a ketchup container, but it was like white, like mayonnaise. And I was like, this is not what I'm putting on this. And I just ate an old hot dog.
An old gray sausage.
Yeah, from the gas station. Good times in Copenhagen. That was another like, fish-heavy area, though, and I don't eat from the sea, so I was kind of stuck.
Neither do I. Yeah, another diet that I was on.
Yeah, here you go. Pop-Tarts and peanut butter, kids. Traveling the world. How romantic.
So, yeah, that was kind of all I remember from Trek Runner in Copenhagen.
Hey, was
Uh,
this the hotel or was it Sweden? The hotel that had like almost looked like portholes in the walls and stuff. Like there were tiny little windows, but they were like
I
round.
remember that.
Yeah,
I
it was very odd. I remember having a very odd little hotel room with like these weird round
That
windows.
may have been Sweden.
It might have been. And that was another cold, dark place all the time. So
And they always sent us to those places, like the very northern
yeah,
part of the hemisphere during the winter time.
cheap, super cheap to travel in the cold and the dark. Nobody wants to be there.
Oh, anyway, so then moving from the cold and the dark, we moved back down to Lima, Peru, which we didn't actually like ping pong travel. That wouldn't have made sense.
Although we did do that sometimes. Sometimes it did not make sense.
Well, it's true, but I think
But this
that would
was
have
not
been
one of
an
them.
extreme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was not one of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so when we were filming the previous episodes, we filmed in Peru at, I think, two other locations. We
yeah.
also filmed this one, but it just didn't air with them.
It was the Rio Felipe Fortress or whatever that one was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then,
Off
yeah,
the street. Yeah,
yes, off the street.
yeah.
And so this one, we had Paul with us again, Paul from Peru.
All from Peru. God bless him.
And I don't know if you played any antics with him this time around or not.
I think we gave him a pass. He served his time first time around. We didn't turn the heat up on old Paul this time.
um, so this one was Casa Garland. It was like this private residence that sat literally on the street. There was no
Yeah.
like walkway. It was like built on the street.
Right.
Um,
If you're
and so
texting and driving, you're in this guy's living room, pretty much.
it's so true.
Yeah.
And oh, this is the only episode ever that I ever filmed with GHI where I was allowed to sit up front in the
How did
car.
that happen? Who okayed that? Was somebody sick? What happened?
Well, it was all Paul's fault.
Oh.
Paul took my spot and I got pushed to second car, but I got to sit shotgun. So, woo.
Yeah, I mean, you're technically moving back, but you're also moving up at the same time. So
I know. I mean, the life of being a female.
now, we had nothing to do with that. It wasn't our fault. It's just the way they put it together, you know?
No, it's true. That was a total LA thing. It really was.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the cast.
Nope.
We were all good.
I think actually you or Barry or someone asked me, and they're like, why aren't you up front in like the second car all the time? Like, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so that addresses that. I know I've gotten some messages asking me.
Right. Why were you always in the back seat?
Right. Anyway, so Casa Garland, this place was kind of not good.
Yeah, I don't remember, and I know kind of like the hook of this whole thing that we're doing here is that we don't remember too much, but I remember kind of the layout of the place and the fact that it was right on the street. I remember, like noise contamination because of that, but I don't remember anything actually going down at Casa Garland.
There was absolutely nothing even potentially kind of sort of might be paranormal happening there. The claims were that, what was that?
I think it was sad too, because I think wasn't Paul the one that got us the case?
I think he was.
I think it was. Yeah,
I think he was like
nice
friends with the family or something. But so all I remember is there were two claims in this place, which was totally like falling apart. I don't even really understand what was happening to it, but it was like not a livable space.
But they were there though. Weren't they still living there?
They were still living there, but it wasn't livable. Like it was very odd.
Disrepair.
But apparently in one room at certain times of the day and night, the room would shake well, we debunked that because it sits on the road, and anytime a big truck passes by, the whole thing shakes. And then there was like a face in the glass, like wall partition that we debunked because it was just super dirty and it like waxed on and waxed off and didn't get it clean.
Very good, Danielson. Yeah. I remember going outside, like walking the middle, like around the back of the house. I remember still seeing like laundry and stuff was up there. And I remember just thinking, there's nothing here. Like this, it wasn't even big enough for us really to like spend a lot of time investigating because like you couldn't have anybody really in there.
No, and I remember you and I investigated like this room. I don't even know what it was, but we kept hearing thumping, which was one of the claims in that room. And it was like a tin roof.
Oh, that's right.
We walked out and there were cats.
Yeah, and we took video of the cats jumping from, and there's like a mama cat, and she had kittens up there, and she would jump from the housetop, and oh yeah, for sure. Cat on a hot tin roof. We had one going on.
Exactly.
It all comes back.
I think the most horrifying thing that I experienced at that location, at Casa Garland, was our director, Dave Hobbs.
Fumbles.
Fozzie Fumbles. I gave him the name Fozzie Fumbles because he had like really hairy arms, but he was not the most graceful person among any of us.
He was very like athletic looking. Like you would look at him and think like this guy's gonna be like a tennis pro or something, but no, could barely walk without falling over.
It's true. And so
the guy you want producing your quiet ghost show. We used to always make him sit down in a hallway. So I'm like, you stay here.
Yes.
Go home. Yeah.
It's so true. So he was in the bathroom, and it was the only working toilet in the entire place for 17 people plus the family. So 20 people.
Sure.
And we like had to take turns. And so he had just finished. He had opened the door up. So I had
take turns in usually in a home. Yeah, so
he had opened the door.
To the bathroom. Yes.
Yeah, he had opened the door, and I walked in and was like, "Dude, come on, like, let's go. I have to pee," you know.
Yeah.
And I catch him in the process of digging into the toilet frantically because he dropped his battery pack that he wore for one of those things that he had.
Yeah.
And it fell into this toilet. And I had to go to the bathroom, but I walked out and I was just horrified. Like, I was like that still sticks with me.
Nobody was shaking hands with him after that. Oh, just, yeah. That's
good
tough.
Times at Casa Garland.
Yeah, indeed. The old haunted toilet. Somebody reaches out and just pulls stuff in there all the time. That's what happened.
Oh, it was really bad. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of this episode. I feel like Casa Garland was like the short end of the stick. I think Trek Runner ran like more than a half an hour, and then Casa Garland's like, oh, by the way.
We also stopped here when we were in Peru. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
We got to fill this last break. Brought to you by Domino's. Thanks for watching.
With Mike Rowe, like, announcing. Remember, he was our narrator?
Yeah. Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe.
Yeah. Yep.
That was nice. Yeah. Good times. Yeah. Not too much going on Casa Garland, but
no, I think that was a pretty lame ender for what could have been a pretty cool, solid episode, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
And it often crumbles. It would have been nice if Trek Runner could have just been its own like hour-long thing, but I guess it just didn't come up with enough evidence and material to make it work.
I mean, look, we could have maybe filmed with that team. That could have been cool.
Yeah, they sure
something different.
Thing.
Yeah,
more fun. But yeah, so that's the tail end of Peru, which was from a previous trip. And our journey as we start to head out that way to Copenhagen.
Yes.
Very good. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we'll catch up with you with another episode of Fuzzy Memories from the Road coming out soon. Time out for cats. Stop it. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. It's one of those furless, hairless cats. She's crazy.
One of these times, you're going to have to just have him in your arm where you're just like petting it as you talk.
Little Dr. Evil. She's a feisty little thing, but yeah. Anyway, hairless cats. Brandy, wait a second. Wait a second. Are you wearing something special in this episode? Is there something peeking out there from the old GHI t-shirt, ladies and gents?
Look at that.
Last lost the sink in Peru.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Probably. I don't know.
They used to give us some gear, though.
Yeah. Well, once in a while. I'm surprised they didn't make us pay for it.
No, or give it back.
This is only on a rental.
That's right. You're going to return it.